be glad to answer any questions for you. Thanks for coming.
Opening up in the fourth row right, Nick.
Gary said last week that you could probably go, if you went on the field today, 6 or 7 deep at quarterback. With the way that you guys play and the way that offenses play today, are you just at a position where you really can't have enough guys there?
Yeah, but Kerry gets excited. I'll overrule him. We can't do that. I mean, we could. We won't be very good right now. So 6 or 7 deep at corner. Is that what he said?
I think it was more like 8 total on secondary.
He meant 7 corners are going to play, not really rotate
7
in.
corners won't play.
He meant like 3 or 4 will rotate.
Kerry gets really, I don't know if you guys knew this, Kerry gets really excited. I'm sorry, how important is that in this league?
Just with the way that you play, the way that you ask your corners.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question because we have a job description of a corner, and that's play man-to-man. And we want to help them out a little bit. We play man-to-man. So, I mean, it's amazing what our corners do. And obviously, Coach Combs, and we're very good on defense the last 2 years. And it starts a corner because that frees you up to do everything else. So, need to keep recruiting, keep developing because the job that he does developing, and it's amazing, the NFL never has came to us and said, hey, we're looking for a really good zone corner. You know, they want man-to-man guys, and so do we, and that's what we ask our players to do. They wake up and they play man-to-man, they go to sleep playing man-to-man, so that's why they get so good at it.
I want to ask about the defensive line, too. You have a lot of guys there that play a lot of snaps. Do you see that position being a potential backbone?
I think as of right now, it's our strength of our team on defense, that they're fast, they're really good players. Draymond Jones is really turning into a fine player here for us. The other side, we're hoping Tracy Sprinkle can really give us some depth and be the guy that we thought he was going to be before he got hurt. Defensive end, I challenge, we'll be as good as anybody in America, defensive end.
All right, over here, Clay.
JT's still the starter. How goes the competition in back?
Really good. I'd say Joe is ahead of him, but they're both getting reps. Tate's had his best day too the other day in the scrimmage, so it's a good competition there, and that brings out the best in people. And we all know what happened here a couple years ago, that all of a sudden someone taps you on the shoulder and says you're their starter, go beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game, and they did it. So that position's a key guy, and everybody appreciates that. And I think Ryan Day, deep ball percentage was out the best it's been since we've been here last week, because we were charting everything. And JT and the boys did a really good job. We didn't catch all of them, but as far as accuracy, it was almost 90%, and that's what we're looking for.
Front row, middle, Bill?
With the spring game next week, I'm assuming that guys have started to come to the forefront. Which guys have really made a jump this spring, and are there position battles you're particularly interested in right now?
Yeah, if you're going to ask that, I guess I'll go through it because I don't want to miss anybody. But position by position, J.K. He got a little rolled ankle today, but he'll be fine. But he had a really good scrimmage the other day. Antonio just been hurt, so he hasn't really had many opportunities this spring, and the other guy's doing good too, DeMario. But Mike Weber is separating himself. He's having an exceptional spring, and it's about where he should be. This time last year, we just ironically was talking to him about it today. He's 100% the player he was last year. I mean, in everything, he's doing a very good job. Quarterback, we just talked about. Receiver, Paris, Terry's having an excellent spring. Ben Victor got a little sore shoulder, so he wasn't as active today, but he's coming on. Austin Mack has a little hamstring, but he's coming on. KJ Hill's had a very good spring, and Johnny Dixon's is competing his tail off for playing time. So I know I'm kind of giving you a lot here, but you asked. Tight end's the most improved position on the team right now. A.J. Alexander is really coming on, and Luke Farrell is a little bit ahead of Jake Hausman, but they're both very comparable and the most improved position on the team. O-line, Demetrius Knox is running with the ones, and Malcolm Pregen's still learning the offense, but Matt Burrell is probably, one of the most improved offensive linemen at this point, and the other guys are much improved as well. Very pleased with where we're at on the offensive line. Still not where we need to be in the twos, nowhere close. I wish you could get a little more competition out of those guys, but that's not happening yet, other than names I said. D-line, the 4 defensive ends are elite players. That's Taekwon, Bosa, Jalen Holmes, and Sam Hubbard. and they're all very experienced guys, so we're being very cautious. Coop hasn't practiced much. He had a hamstring and just hasn't practiced much. We're supposed to get him back Thursday. Inside guys, probably Draymond's the most improved, and you got BB Landers, who's doing very well. Mike Hill is doing fine. We're just, the Sprinkle's the one. He's going to be the X factor. I got a feeling in there. The other guy had surgery on his foot. Devon Hamilton has surgery on his foot. He's out of spring. He'll be fine in a couple months. Linebacker, most improved. Worley's on the inside and having a heck of a spring. Booker's on the outside. Jerome Baker right now is playing Will. And Justin here, it's good to see him make a little bit of a push. I forget. Malik Harrison is going to play. He had shoulder. He's done for the spring. I don't know if you guys know that. We had shoulder surgery. He'll be a lot like we had another guy with shoulder surgery. Baron Brown, and they're both standing next to each other out there, and they're both going to play. Very athletic guys, and Malik was having a tremendous. He's going to compete for a starting spot. The back end, Damon Webb is a much improved player than he was in the spring. His weight's down. He's doing very well. The other position's still a toss-up. Eric Smith's doing fine. He's got to keep coming. And Jordan Fuller's in the hunt for that as well. And then you guys know about the corners. There's 4 young freshmen that are competing with Denzel Ward and Damon Arnett. Damon Arnett has had an excellent spring, and so is Denzel. So that's a rundown.
Excuse me, front row middle. Dave?
Coach, entering spring, what is the biggest area of improvement you wanted to see from JT, and how is he progressing in whatever that is?
Offensively, because that's really the quarterback, but offensively it's pass protection. Number 2 is accuracy with the underline under the deep ball. And then the cross-face finishing blocks, we've always been great. We had unusual number of non-big play. We weren't a very big play team, and we have been for as long as I can remember, dating way back before Ohio State. So it was because we weren't finishing blocks. We call that cross-facing. So those are the 3 points of emphasis on offense, and I can see the improvement.
When we talked to Ryan Day, he mentioned footwork. He's working a lot with footwork with JT. Is that a big improvement he needs to make, or just small tweaks that he needs to make in his footwork, JT?
I wouldn't say it's an overhaul, but it has to deal with accuracy, and they're working their tails off, and you can see I thought his freshman year, redshirt freshman year, he was a very accurate player, and then the last 2 years weren't quite as accurate, and you can see that he's really improving.
Second row left, Ari.
Urban, you talked a lot about how every single scholarship on this team is important, down to the last one. You've had a few guys the last few years, and maybe one coming up this year, who have paid their own way to help you guys get under the limit or to have an extra one to offer somebody. Can you explain how that discussion is on how you guys arrive at that decision, and how big of a boost that is when you have guys willing to, pay their own way and open up other scholarships?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. It was a year ago. We had Josh Myers, you had Marcus Williamson, and and Brendan White commit, and they're going to be mid-semesters. And at the time, because of there's so much fluidity on a team with the NFL, with whatever reason things happen, I met with all 3 families, and I said, there's a couple options here. They can't, because the only way you're allowed to come in January is if someone graduates. And, it was so early, and we were doing so well in recruiting, I saw a number crunch that was I didn't want to have that conversation with them in December. And they're all good people. I know them very well. And we said, here's our options. Delay your until June, because then you'll be fine, or come in January and pay your own way. And every one of them that's how, when I told Jane Smith, I was like, I couldn't imagine that they said, Coach, we're fine. We want to come in early. We love Ohio State. You guys have been great to us. And they said, we're going to pay our own way for the good thing was that 2 freed up and only 1 had to do that.
That's a pretty big sacrifice for some people.
That's unbelievable. But that's a credit to those people, those families that's how first of all, they appreciate our honesty and also their love of Ohio State and wanted to be here.
You guys, I think at this point, might still be 1 or 2 over, depending on how things shake out. Are there any other roster moves or anything that you anticipate in terms of how you guys are going to get on?
At some point, I don't know what you know so far. So, like Tyler Gerald's no longer with us. That was one, and I don't want to give you anything yet. I mean, we'll be fine at 85. I think we're right at it, but
Third row left, Eric.
I don't think you mentioned anything about your kicking situation. I know last year Tyler Durbin did it the whole year because Sean had an injury. What kind of status there? Is Sean your guy, Nuremberger, or?
well, we got another guy coming in the summer, Blake. He'll be here in the summer to compete. Sean, we're going to field goal tomorrow. We had one, and he's okay. He's not, it's not like it's his spot. He worked really hard, is in much better shape than he's ever been, so we'll see at the end of spring. He gets to do it in front of 100,000 here pretty soon.
Far left, Matt.
A couple of weeks in now, and you're past the halfway point, does the focus of what you're looking for in practice change, or what are you looking for here as we start?
Well, Greg Schiano's looking for certain things. Kevin Wilson's looking for certain things. What I'm looking for is energy, enthusiasm. We're very strong. I made this comment. It was outstanding today. Very strong at the top. When your best players are your best workers and most enthusiastic people, that's a good sign. And we're very strong at the bottom. The last two classes are exactly what you look for on and off the field. And the 15 class, they've received a lot of heat, and it's very justified. That was not a good class. And the good thing is they're allowed to change, and they're starting to change. So we're seeing much more production from the Matt Burrells of the world. I just made a comment. I think he rated champion the last two scrimmages, and just tells you that Mike Weber's really coming on. So that class, that was a misfit class, is starting to buy in, and they better.
Saturday you got your student day.
Yeah.
How important is that?
Well, it's important, and I'm worried that, it just gets old. It's old news, and so we're trying to maybe do it on a Friday night, and we worked with our student body and student organizations here on campus are elite. I hear about other schools worried about their students coming to game. We don't. I mean, we do. That's why we give them ownership in our program. So I sent out a email to all the students. We're inviting them, having the fastest student. I wanted to do maybe a Friday night just to change it up, but they had some other stuff going on, and it's SIBS weekend, and so we're very conscientious of our most important group of people, and that's our students. So try to do as best we can.
Far left there, Lori.
Coach, we've talked in the past about how hard it is to get something out of practice once the season rolls around. So what is
Who's around?
when the season rolls around, when you're game prep? So what is the thing that you mostly need to get out of now that you can't get out of those practices when you're getting ready for an opponent on Saturday?
Well, you just try things that, Kevin's got great ideas, so does Ryan, and so I don't want to try, we're not going to try them in September. We're doing some things that are maybe we've not done before, and some of them look good, some of them look bad. We give the bad maybe one more opportunity, and then it's out. So those are kind of things. It's kind of fun in spring. You can try all kinds of stuff and see how it works, and some have been really good. So same with Coach Schiano. We have in my mind, four defensive ends of Draymond Jones that, I'd like to see all five on the field at one time. Those are five really, as coaches like to say, we have the checkers. You got five really good checkers right there. Play them all at once. So those are little things that we're talking about and trying. That's what you get to do in spring.
Have your early enrollees hit a wall yet? I mean, I imagine
No.
at some point.
No, they're doing great. I love them. I just wish Baron Browning would have stayed healthy because he's certainly in the depth.
Got time for a couple more. Front row right, Tim.
Urban, how would you describe what it is you guys look for in offensive linemen when you're recruiting? And is it fair to say y'all have missed on a few? I mean,
Yes,
obviously.
we have.
And what is it that you
More
see?
than a few.
Yeah.
You can't do that, and that's what happens is you have a year like we did last year where guys, true freshmen should not play here. That's not because there were some misses in there. Some players didn't develop, some things happened. Dog ate my homework, whatever it is, that should not happen here. Very disappointed in that, and so we can't miss again.
But you've been around for a while now. What is it that a lineman, obviously some linemen look really good in high school, but they hit a wall here or something, but what are you looking for specifically?
Number one is toughness. A guy that, if you have to worry about the toughness of a lineman, then you've made a horrible mistake. You got to deal with that at receiver and other positions, But toughness is number one. You have to be athletic. You have to be able to move. You have to be able to get leverage on players, and you got to be the ultimate grinder. And if you're not that, then it's called a miss. And there's some young guys really coming on right now, but you're right, we had probably 2 classes in there that didn't turn out.
One other quick, when you watch Sam Hubbard now, he had the option to possibly leave, he opted to come back and stuff, but what are you seeing out of him specifically this spring that's different from 2 springs ago? Obviously, he's a little bit bigger, but he seems extremely quick. I mean, what do you see?
He's the definition of elite. We call it 10-80-10 around here, and it's elite, self-discipline, self-respect, and incredible work ethic. That's how you identify the characteristic of an elite player, and he's as elite as I've ever been around. He's just working and shows up every day with the same demeanor on special teams. He's a valuable guy. He's the face. That's kind of what the mistakes we made, we're looking for those other guys like him.
Any final questions, Austin?
It seemed like midway through the season last year, you really wanted Ben Victor to get out and start playing more. What kept him from doing that?
No, just to go hard, the knowledge of the offense, and he just wasn't a go hard player all the time, and he really grew up, and he's a great young man. He's going to be fine. Very good player. Just that typical freshman stuff.
When he's going right, he's got the motor going. What is he capable of?
Anything he wants. That's how good he is. That's how talented. He's not good yet. That's how talented he is.
Great.
Thanks, guys.
Very much, Coach.